Hello, today our team, Abby, Elise, Kat, Laura, and myself, Carly, will be presenting our MMIS 6298 milestone project for FunMunchkins. So let me start by giving you some background on our project. We partnered with Dipti Vaida, the owner of FunMunchkins, a successful 10-year Etsy shop that specializes in personalized children clothing with over 32,000 sales and an impressive 4.9 out of 5-star rating. Fun Munchkins is clearly doing something right. However, despite the success, the business faces a significant operational challenge. Currently, the shop processes between 70 and 140 orders weekly, but relies entirely on manual inventory management. This creates a serious problem, which employees frequently lose track of stock levels and encounter unexpected shortages, which impacts their ability to fulfill orders efficiently. So, to fully understand this problem, we conducted a comprehensive design thinking workshop through this collaborative process, and we identified a core issue by creating a persona named Carla, who represents an overwhelmed employee struggling with manual inventory tracking. This human centered approach helped us develop empathy and truly understand the pain points through empathy mapping, ideation sessions, and voting exercises where we created and proposed our solution of implementing an inventory management SaaS or SaaS platform with a custom dashboard. This system will digitize inventory tracking, significantly reduce employee stress, and position Fun Munchkins for sustainable long-term growth. Okay, so here's a quick little overview of our design thinking workshop and the process that we used. You can see that we started out with team warm ups and then moved through empathy mapping to understand Carla's challenges. We defined our problem statement, brainstormed solutions during ideation, voted on the best ideas with some emojis, and finally moved to prototyping our dashboard solution. This structured approach ensured our solution truly understood and met all the needs of the Fun Munchkins employees.
Before our team began any efforts towards prototyping, we made sure to connect with Dipti on a list of system requirements. The first one being a seamless integration with Etsy itself, given that Etsy is the primary place where orders are placed and listings are activated. The second being custom order tracking. There should be a functionality for users to be able to manually enter custom orders into the system that aren't placed directly through Etsy. The third being a management dashboard where users can see real-time the status of orders, inventory, listings, and stock levels. Fourth being low stock and out of stock alerts. Users should receive real-time alerts when stock levels reach below a certain threshold. And fifth, overall, the system should be user-friendly and the user should not incur any additional difficulties trying to interact with the system. We also made sure to run numbers by Dipti before moving forward, so here is a snapshot of our economic feasibility analysis showing reoccurring costs, one-time costs, overall return on investment, and the break-even point, which would be estimated to occur before the first year post-implementation completes, which Dipti was ultimately satisfied with. Now, once we were on the same page with system requirements and numbers, we moved into process modeling. Here's a snapshot of our context diagram. We knew there would be two primary external entities interfacing with our system, the inventory management system, and those external entities were FunMunchkins, owner and employees, and Etsy Marketplace itself. Our system has 7 primary processes that allow it to function appropriately. We go more in depth about the processes, sub-processes in our milestone report, but for purposes of the presentation, we have 7 primary processes. First primary process relates to processing an order, whether it's through Etsy or manually entered through the user. Then inventory is updated through these new orders flowing through or through a manual stock adjustment by the user. Then listings are updated for any listings impacted by inventory adjustments. We have 3 primary data stores: orders, inventory, and listings. When these data stores are impacted through process flows, Then process 4, generate dashboards and alerts, is triggered. The dashboard is updated to represent the real-time levels of orders, inventory, and listings, and any alerts that need to be sent out to the user based on those levels. And then we have process 5, manage order and status updates, which is a generic process to make sure that if orders are fulfilled or canceled, that's being routed appropriately into the system. In order to visually represent our three primary data stores, we created the entity relationship diagram. And here you can see the relationships between orders, inventory, and listings. You also see two additional junction tables that support the connection between our primary data stores. This essentially turns into our functional database, which Elise is going to get into some of the reports, our primary reports that are generated based on our database.
All right, so now we're going to look at our reports. So we made these reports after using our ERD to make a database, and then we ran some queries to be able to put the tables together just to make sure we got a really good report for our employees to see when they were fulfilling orders. So this report is going to be inventory on hand from least to greatest. So it's going to list out all of our products and how much we have of them, which is really important. So we know if a product is getting low, we can go ahead and order a new one, or if we have too much of a product, we can try to promote it and sell it more. And here we have two more reports. We have orders requiring low stock items, so we know which orders we're going to have to take a little more time to fulfill because we don't have the item, or we might not have enough of the item. And then at the bottom we also have out of stock items, which is really important, so we know what we have to order. Here is our next report, which is inventory required to fill active orders. So this report just shows us what inventory items we need in which order, just so we're ready. A lot of these reports are similar to another, but they have different pieces of information that are important to be able to fulfill each order. And then here is our last report, which is going to be inventory on hand per listing. So it just shows what we have posted on Etsy that we can sell and how much of it we have. So for example, on this report, we have a lot of the little pumpkin personalized baby onesie, and it just goes through each inventory ID and everything like that. And now we're going to look at UIs.
Hello, I'm going to walk through the user interface design for the Etsy inventory management system. So we started by designing the main dashboard, which acts as the command center for the store. At the top, we have real-time snapshots of the business, including key metrics like total inventory, open orders, inventory turnover, and cancellations. This lets the store owner instantly understand the inventory health and order workload without having to navigate through multiple screens. Below that, the dashboard highlights low stock components, which are driven by predefined reorder levels. This makes it easier to know when materials like onesies, tutu vinyls, etc. are running low before they affect order fulfillment. On the right side, there's a recent activity feed, which shows actions such as completed orders, stock adjustments, and restocks, helping the staff stay aligned on changes throughout the day. We also have a little tab in the middle for open orders, just giving a snapshot of the overview of inventory. Next is the inventory list, which serves as the master catalog for all materials used in the store. This includes clothing pieces and packing materials. The filter bar allows staff to quickly search by category, size, color, or supplier. Each component shows its current stock level and reorder threshold, and staff can manually adjust inventory directly from this page when fulfilling orders or correcting counts. The product screen is where finished goods are managed. This includes all items, and each product is linked to a bill of materials, allowing the system to track exactly which components are required to fulfill an order. This ensures inventory is consistently and accurately deducted. The product screen is where for order handling, the order screen separates standard orders, custom orders, and cancellations. Custom order screens include detailed customization notes and extra material tracking, which is especially important for personalized Etsy purchases. As per customer requirements, here's the functionality to manually enter order details. So this allows the staff to manually enter an order for custom orders or update any inventory levels. Similarly, the inventory system allows for manual updates to new stock, keeping any stock up to date from what is in the warehouse. Similarly, the report screen supports business oversight by summarizing inventory usage, custom orders, and cancellations over time, allowing the customer to adequately track inventory.
The report screen supports business oversight by summarizing inventory.
Hi, I'm Kat, and for our FunMunchkins implementation plan, we feel that the best way to roll this out is to do a phased rollout in order to minimize the disruption and reduce potential risk. And we also want to start with FunMunchkins just starting with pilot groups of high volume items such as onesies, tutus, headbands, tumblers, and t-shirts. And we want to make sure that we validate the Etsy integration, inventory accuracy, and user confidence before we expand our implementation plan. We want to provide clear visual documentation, such as a quick start guide, a step by step manual for the FunMunchkins employees to have handy, and a troubleshooting sheet. We want a hands on scenario based training for the non technical employees, and we want to establish a single point of contact for support within FunMunchkins. And with that, have some issue resolution. And we're going to conduct a monthly system based health checks for ongoing maintenance. And for our next steps, we're going to finalize initial pilot inventory categories and import the system in. And we want to build and distribute user training materials and quick start guides for FunMunchkins employees, as I had previously mentioned. And we want to schedule an initial training session and follow up reinforcement sessions so that we can make sure that all employees are fully comfortable with the system as it's being implemented. We're going to set up a support channel and some issue tracking processes, such as screenshots, descriptions, and timestamps, so the employees can have that handy when troubleshooting before coming to us. And we want to configure daily automated backups and quarterly maintenance procedures. On top of that, we're going to make sure that we monitor closely the pilot results and plan a timeline for the full rollout to all of FunMunchkin's products. And we're going to conduct a post-pilot evaluation to identify any potential improvements that we can have. And we want to make sure that we get a strong basis of that before we have the full transition into our system. Thank you.